let's look at it from a thematic perspective. It's beautiful.
So, welcome to another Bearfoot Miniatures rundown, in which I'm joined by
James. Okay, how you doing?
Yeah, who we're going to be going over Iron Warriors. Like, you have been on the not Night Lords, Raven Guard, some other than Iron Warriors.
Yeah, well, you kicked me off Iron Warriors at the end of 1.0, didn't you, when we lost our battle?
Well, that
so
was it.
I was
You just had to.
I was like demoted to, I believe the tier list call it the bottom tier army Raven Guard. So
yeah. As we like, well, when we do our army's tier list at some point, which we've said we'll do.
yeah, White Scars and Raven Guard at the bottom because that's where everyone else has put them, and they obviously know best because they're YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, like, as you guys know, everyone on YouTube is just an expert, and our opinions should be listened to. I can't even finish that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be doing Iron Warriors because, like, both of our main armies, Iron Warriors. And we'll go through the Legion rule, advanced reaction, and why we're so hard done to compared to the rest of the Legions.
Yeah, and how we're going to pack our toys up and go home on turn 4.
Exactly. Warlord Traits, special units including Iron Havoks, and then Perturabo, because you saved the money shot till last.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so Wrack and Ruin, that's our Legion trait. We've lost the leadership, ignoring in the shooting phase.
Yeah, I really like that. I thought that was really good.
I thought it was really fluffy more than anything else. It just feels wrong now.
You look at it from a fluff perspective, I look at it from a competitive gaming perspective.
Well, do you know what? It would have been too good to keep that in the current edition of the game.
Yeah, that's
how
fair.
it was. I would have preferred it if they'd have gone to something like, well, it's spoiling Perturabo's thing a little bit, but he does leadership tests on 3d6.
Yeah.
If they'd have done that for all Iron Warriors, but only in the shooting phase, or do you know, something like that?
I mean,
that's what
we can't really complain because Wrack and Ruin is amazing.
Right. So,
yeah.
right. Like this. What is it? So anyone with Legion Astartes, Iron Warriors, gains +1 to strength to the attacks when attacking dreadnoughts, automata, vehicles, buildings. It ties into the old Wrack and Ruin rule of grenades, except now you can actually use it sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. And this is format warping.
This
warps how 2.0 plays.
No, it does not, because so James is good. Right, let me put words in James's mouth. He doesn't take tanks because Iron Warriors exist. I would say you don't take tanks
because las cannons exist.
Because las cannons of any form exist. Everyone now with las cannons in 2.0, which have Tank Hunter.
Well, Sunder, but yeah.
Well,
Tank Hunter.
effective Tank Hunter from last edition, because that's the comparison I'm going to be drawing.
Yeah. Okay.
And BS5 because of Tech Marines.
Yeah, ignore Shroud because of the Tech Marines as well.
Are effectively Iron Havoks from first edition.
And we'll go on to this with the Iron Havok bit as well.
Yeah.
They're cheaper.
What didn't Iron Havoks kill in first edition? Flare Shielded Spartan from the front, you maybe sometimes didn't kill it.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes. But most of the time you did. And most of the time, if you didn't kill it with them Iron Havoks, it exposed its flank to everything else.
Yeah.
I think this is win more. I don't think anyone struggles with tanks anyway.
No, 100% agree with you.
Other than making a strength 7, other than making, say, like a Volkite attack, being able to damage an armor value 13 or Penna 12, my las cannons aren't struggling anyway. It means I'm +1 to the pen, but I'm strength 10 basically. I didn't need that with the las cannons that have already got Tank Hunter and strength 9. There's not that many times where I'm on that much on the borderline.
No, that's fair. I do think it is, I agree with you, it is win more, but it is, as someone who's been playing a Loyalist Legion a lot, like, it just makes tanks irrelevant for me, more so than las cannons, because I can kill a las cannon unit.
Yeah, right. So let me also say, I think it's very +1 to anything is very good.
Yes,
is incredibly good, but we're not in the edition of tanks.
No, I agree with that.
And also, it relies on my opponent having tanks.
Yes.
Like I've just done Ultramarines, which is +1 BS, so it's still a +1 somewhere, but it relies on how I set up my army as an Ultramarine player. I've just done Space Wolves with Phil. They get the move and charge.
Yeah.
Or the run and charge. That relies on my army doing...
I'm with you.
Fists, my army's set up in a certain way. This one, my opponent...
So my Raven Guard, playing Iron Warriors, you don't get a Legion trait.
As you can see on the channel, when I played James's Raven Guard, not linked below because I'll definitely forget.
Yeah, but
it's in the playlist if I've made the playlist.
Iron Warriors are hard done by because basically 2.0 says you don't get a Legion trait. Because you might take Dreadnoughts.
Because I'm not scared about tanks anymore.
Yeah, because you might face Dreadnoughts, but if you're facing tanks as Iron Warriors, you don't care anyway.
Yeah.
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 But if you're facing all infantry or, I don't know, Custodes when they come out, who cares? Like, the Legion trait does nothing. You just...
Like, I actually tried, one of the arguments is it makes your Rhino or your Bolters able to... Your tactical squads become slightly more useful.
Yes.
Because they can have a go at glancing down Rhinos and stuff like that.
But they've all got crack grenades anyway.
They've all got crack grenades for the charge, which I can't do with a Fire Rapid Fire. This is going to sound like such a complaint. I love Iron Warriors. I love Iron Warriors.
Right, pack your shit up.
I'm never going to stop playing them, right? Because I've tried to get a second Legion, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I love Iron Warriors. Mine's coming from a perspective of sort of a pushback, because there are so many people saying it's just default the best Legion trait. Yeah, that's it. I think it's good because +1 strength to anything. I just think there's the other side of the argument. Yeah. There is it, I would say.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with you on that, mate. I would.
This is going to be such a negative review based on that.
It's not. There's so... And I think we're playing a game after this, so Iron Warriors versus Iron Warriors 2.0, so...
Yeah, we're playing a mirror match of our 1.0
as close as possible,
yeah.
Because you had Militia in yours and you can't at the minute, so...
So yeah, that is the Legion trait. When it does come in, I think, is crack grenades on Castellax. Because you've got that +1 strength, which makes you wound them on 3s when you hit automatically as well.
Yeah, that's actually very good.
That's good. I don't think Castellax are as scary as they were in the last edition. No. But it comes in there. Buildings aren't really in the game yet. I really hope they do get put in the game massively. But no one's really, from what I've seen, playing them. Yeah, it's a little bit win more. It helps Tyrants because they go to strength 9.
Yeah, that's quite tasty.
Yeah.
Because they can take down like your Spartans and your Kratos and
yeah.
stuff like that.
I just don't think it's this overwhelming game-breaking benefit.
No, I guess there's some benefits if you're facing Dreadnoughts. Like, my mass firepower hurts them more. Because, let's be fair, you're going to see a lot of Dreadnoughts still, even if you're not seeing vehicles. So the fact they've added Dreadnoughts and Automata into this is
the things that you use to kill Dreadnoughts, are you not always just looking for either a rending, which means you wound anyway, or...
mass firepower.
AP2, which comes in the form of las cannon.
No, you're also looking for number of dice, so Volkite.
So Volkites, it would then help wound on a 3-up rather than a 4-up against a Contemptor.
Yes.
So that is then useful.
Yeah.
For that, like, a couple of squads that...
Or if you're firing at Leviathans, it helps as well.
Wounded on 4 rather than 5.
Auto cannons, wounded on 3s.
Yeah.
That's where it's good.
Yeah, so... Do you know what? I might even chop and change it. Because... so it's good against some targets, is what we're saying, rather than... I just wanted a nuanced view of it. No, it sounds like mass complaining. So, in the true Iron Warriors way, we'll grumble for 10 more minutes about that.
Yeah.
No. So the Iron Warriors advanced reaction, which is Bitter Fury. Now this is basically once per battle, like any advanced reaction, when you make a form of return fire.
Yes.
And it's not return fire how it got FAQ'd in the FAQ. You still do this as it says in the advanced reaction before your damage mitigation.
Because I love you, GW, but you are terrible at FAQing at the minute. I'm sorry. you are. I'll help you if you want. Drop me an email through Max. I'll help you, but that's so.
What, you think the FAQ should have covered Bitter Fury as well?
I just think there's no consistency. Like, it tweaks. Anyway, we're not talking about the FAQ. There's some good stuff in it. There's some not so good stuff in it. This reaction is old style return fire. Yeah. So after saves.
Yeah, and it's basically all weapons make twice their normal number of attacks, but gain Gets Hot. And if you already had Gets Hot, you Gets Hot on a 1 or 2. What do you think, James? So this is similar to the Iron Hands reaction, but in the shooting phase instead.
I like this. So I hated Tyrants in 1.0. I think that was a clear view of mine. I did not like Tyrants. Tyrants in 2.0, I think, are pretty decent. And getting extra crack missile shots is very nice.
Yeah, because it doubles your number of crack missile shots. I'd give on the flip side to that though. Say you have a unit of 10. Let's just pluck a number that might or might not be the total squad size of most Tyrant squads.
The only squad size of most Tyrant squads.
Exactly. What were you not killing with 20 crack missiles? Except for something with a 2-up save.
It is a lot win more again, isn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I think it's really scary when it gets off. However, like having done it a few times with my last cannon squads, with anything with a good AP, that squad's gone. An autocannon squad.
This is where I use it. So my autocannon Havoks love this because it's just more dice.
Maybe that's the difference between our.
Yeah, you've got last cannon Havoks. I've got autocannon.
Well, I've got missile launcher ones as well, but I don't actually own any autocannon Havoks.
I got them just for Melos.
Did you?
Yeah.
For the Sunder round.
Yeah, because you made them decent. I was like, and I love the artwork on the old 1.0 book.
Yeah, I'm still after a 1.0 book just for that artwork actually.
I'll sort you out.
Thank you.
But yeah, it's another kind of win more mechanic.
Yeah, so I think it's. I don't think it's just win more. I think, as you say, it's good for them autocannon use. I quite like it actually with, and what we'll come on to like the Rite of War special ammunition. I like it with shrapnel bolts in the, or at least how it's supposed to work, with shrapnel bolts in Fury of Olympia, because you're getting double the amount of chances for that wound to go through. To pin someone.
Right.
Yeah. So I like it for that. When it gets hot, he's not too scary because I'm re-rolling the ones because of Fury of Olympia. Do you know, he's all right in that sort of situation.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
I don't think it's as good as, say, like the Space Wolf reaction where you can charge in their movement phase. Or the Blood Angels reaction, Fists reaction, where you do them charges out of sequence. I don't think it's as good as those reactions. But I also don't think it's the worst reaction ever.
I think it's very thematic as well.
That
is.
Well, that's the one thing that I think is quite consistent, other than the losing the
leadership buff.
I think it's quite consistent across all the Iron Warriors stuff.
It's very thematic.
Thematic.
Really
exactly.
well done. Really well done.
Maybe I should have led into Rack and Ruin with that, James. If anyone's still around now, see, I have got a nuance response.
Just cut this in front of it.
And I think we'll get to it in these Warlord traits.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Tyrant of the Apollocron. You gain Fearless for the Warlord, but may not join any unit not entirely made up of Iron Warriors. However, when you're in the shooting phase and charge sub phase, you must shoot the nearest enemy unit in range, and you must charge the nearest enemy unit in range in the charge sub phase. You also get an extra shooting reaction like Iron Warriors would probably love, like I love. That makes it near unusable to me. Because I like the fluff of like being like the Man of Iron and...
Well, this, again, from a gameplay perspective, not the best.
Yeah.
From a fluff perspective, this is Kroger from the Perturabo novels, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's brilliant, just running forward,
he's not
stuff.
A tyrant though. He's a line trooper promoted in Angel Exterminatus.
Angel Exterminatus, sorry. But he becomes...
he's like the Berserker guy.
Yeah, so that's what I would take.
I also like the fact that it ties into... So Iron Warriors in, say, 3rd and 4th edition 40k...
Yeah.
Were like... They'd be in this siege for ages, getting like really pent up. And then they were like...
Smash.
Then loads of them were actually dedicated to Khorne.
Yeah.
Because in that moment of like the...
We've breached the battle.
The escapade, the escalade, like into the battle. Yeah, they go fucking mental.
Yeah, this is brilliant for that.
He's really good at representing. I like that. You're toning down my bitterness in this game. So I think it's really good for that. I just think gameplay wise, losing control of your unit.
Yeah,
but Fearless, like it's this is the leadership thing.
Yeah,
like this
Fearless is amazing.
Yeah, there is, however, a Warlord trait in. Oh, it's another Legion that just gives you Fearless rather than having the drawback. Right. So this is one of when I just said before, like the way that they've written these rules really thematic all the way through, but we've gained a drawback that someone else didn't get for the same benefit.
Yeah. True,
which is just a bit of a shit.
True,
but I suppose, do you know what? It gives me something to moan about in true Iron Warrior fashion. Like,
it is. Yeah.
Welcome to the salty cast.
Grr. Yeah. Tom will be loving it. Fucking licking his lips, won't he?
So, Tyrant of the Dodecathon.
Oh, I love this one.
I think this is I'm coming round to this.
This is the best one in my opinion.
Yeah, 100. I agree 100%, James. So basically, after all deployment and everything's happened, before scouting infiltrators, pick a piece of terrain and you make it dangerous and difficult. And it removed the cover, yeah. Though I wouldn't say that's the best. The best bit is difficulty or dangerous in something.
Yeah.
And even making it difficult if it wasn't before. Because, like, taking 2 off someone's movement all the time, if it's a large piece of area terrain, like I've got down there.
Well, I played a game.
Are we both going to use this in our game? We're going to have a game and we're both going to use this.
Yeah, so I played a game in Preston against the Word Bearers player. And we had this, like, I can't think of it, a trench network.
Yeah.
That was all one piece of terrain, so I blew that up. So whenever it was literally covered the middle of the board from his deployment to my deployment.
Oh, because there's no outer limits of the terrain.
Yeah, so I was like, that's one piece of terrain, are we happy? Because I'm going to blow it up. And he was like, that sounds cool. So whenever someone tried to walk through this trench network, you lost 2 movement, you had to roll a dangerous terrain test and didn't get a cover save.
Do you know what? I really need a trench network for my Armouries. But anyway, this is the best one. It doesn't really have a drawback, and it gives you an extra reaction to the shooting phase.
Which
I think that is why it's the best one. There is no drawback to this. And dangerous terrain causing a wound on a 1. A 1/6 of your opponent's models that move through that terrain are dying.
And if they do start taking buildings, it messes with buildings as well. I didn't notice this before.
Yeah. Plus,
I stopped at the bit where it said talking about buildings fortifications because no one takes them. +1 to the damage roll means you're just going to bring it down.
Well, you've now got +2.
Yeah.
So even your bolters will then be chancing hurting.
Oh, this isn't to the strength. This is to the damage roll, isn't it?
Oh, is it the damage roll?
Yeah. So you're just gonna when you get through it, you're just gonna take it down. It's brilliant, really thematic.
Yeah.
This is what I would have.
No, I love this.
This is how I play my Armouries.
So it has been in the last couple of games I've played.
Right.
Because I was. Let's go over all of them, then I'll tell you what I was doing.
Right.
Tyrant at Lysatra. Basically, you double the amount of shots that you make 2 shooting attacks worth of shots. Your game that gets hot, special rule. That they will then stack with your advanced reaction if you, for some reason, that use them together, and you will gain 1 billion shots if you do that.
Which is nice.
But the downside here is you are forced to return fire. You can't use evade.
No.
You are forced to return fire against the first unit that shoots against you. And this sort of like nearly melted down the internet when Heresy 2 came out, right?
Yeah, because they didn't read the second bit of it. They read
the second bit
shots,
of it, but makes it near unusable.
Oh, it is just unusable because anyone who knows how to play Heresy will just shoot you with a tactical squad first and then kill you.
Yeah, well, I'd actually got a little bit fed up with people telling me, "Oh, you need to use that; it's the best one."
It's not.
And I was sort of having but discussions with people online. I just sort of stopped talking if it was an argument. But yeah, so I did this in my game against Ben and his Dark Angels, and you can see it demonstrated really clearly. I had my Warlord in a unit of Havoks as well. It doubles the Havoc, so surely that doubles the best.
Yeah, the best.
Because also you're getting 100% increase on a las cannon squad. But he just shot them with a unit of 5 recon marines with snipers.
Yeah.
And then was free to shoot those, so it removes that threat of reaction.
Yeah.
As soon as it's gone. So he was then free to shoot anything else scary at my Havoks and just wipe them.
Yeah.
And actually, I think he put too many points into what he shot them with. He probably should have just shot them with a Rhino.
Yeah.
For 35 points.
Oh, you've killed the Rhino. Cool.
Yeah.
And I guess the output on your turn is pretty good. So if you get a turn of shooting with them, if you go first, that's pretty decent, to be fair.
So it's good on some... So it is. I would say this is actually best used if you want to use it on, again, a bolter squad, where I don't really care if I lose my bolter shots in a turn. I don't really care. If I really want to use this...
It's because bolters are terrible and you should never fire them in a game. I don't even think I picked it up, me saying that.
I think it's there because I'm not too worried about it losing that. But the output that generates from those bolters with, like, say, Fury Olympia maybe, might maybe do something.
But you can't even intercept with this. You can't intercept. That is legitimately terrible. So you're losing all your Havoks.
You can intercept, can't you?
Except the intercept. Yeah, so you can intercept and return fire, that's it. All right.
Yeah. So you can't even hold the line.
No.
Or advance, retreat. I wouldn't take this. I would be taking Tyrant of the Dodecathon. Like you said. What I was taking was Stoic Defender.
Nice.
which gave pinning to the Warlord unit, as well as an extra reaction in the shooting phase. I was taking that for a bit, but I found the units that were gaining pinning
Killed what they shot at.
yeah, a lot of the time. Like it's even like sometimes I'd use it in my like quad heavy bolter unit, which I know you love. It was just another place that I could put pinning in the army. But then it ties my warlord to that unit that wants to be a shooting unit, and normally your warlord wants to go. He's needed for his leadership buff, I think, in other units even.
Can your warlord join quite a heavy bolter's artillery?
Maybe I got that wrong, but that's where he was going.
Yeah. Anyway,
but I eventually came down
early days.
to I want that leadership buff of the warlord, even though he only goes to 9. Like my delegatus, even though he's only 9, he wants to go in a more important unit.
Yeah.
Than this castaway unit. So yeah, then it ended up on Dodecathon.
Fair play.
So yeah, we're both in agreement on that. James isn't adding. The arguments will come later, I imagine.
I always said that was the best one.
Well,
I got told.
You've
that.
always got.
Yeah. Well, that's one of that was Kervalen's alt mode in 1.0. So the mode that you didn't use because she had an armor 15 bastion.
Well, this is the same as like a normal Warsmith from last edition.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, which I like. I also like the Dodeca. That's where you go and play like Warhammer, but in Warhammer, it's like that extra level of Inception. So, on to the Iron Warriors Rites of War, in which first we get to Hammer of Olympia, and this is where you used to get the extra heavy slots.
Yeah, which was lovely.
Yeah. Instead, now you gain all tactical squads made entirely of Iron Warriors gain the Fury of Olympia special rule rather than Fury of the Legion. So what does that do? You add 1 to the number of shots fired when making a shooting attack with a shrapnel bolter or pistol, but not with a shrapnel cannon or Gravis shrapnel cannon. But I don't know how you get one of them, other than maybe an Armistos, if you join him to a tactical squad uselessly.
Yeah, but
yeah, you get
that. If you don't get shrapnel bolts, you can't Fury anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So it requires you to take that 2-point upgrade that's coming
per model. We'll get into that in a minute.
We'll get into that. We have got slightly different opinions on that one.
Yeah.
All Predators, Vindicators, Proteus Carriers, and Spartans ignore Crew Shaken and Stunned.
That's quite nice.
I like it as an upgrade.
A lot of like Vindicators are reinforced anyway, so they ignore one of them. But I like that. That. I would.
The addition of the Crew Stunned rather than just the Crew Shaken, or whichever way around it is a really nice upgrade.
Oh yeah, that's a brilliant way to do it.
Reroll all failed to hit rolls of 1 when making shrapnel pistols, shrapnel bolters, shrapnel weapon attacks.
I love a good reroll, you know this.
Do you know what I prefer? +1 to hit. Do you know what? Like, not because I know that's better, but the reason I prefer that is because I end up having to.
You don't like rerolling.
I don't like rerolling because it means that a big tactical squad has to. If I've got 20 dice, I then have to roll like 6 times. I have to roll 3 times, pick out the ones, so then it's 6 total rolls to resolve that.
You might want to cut this out, but in Age of Sigmar at the minute they're getting rid of rerolls.
Oh really?
They're just doing pluses and minuses.
Well, that is something I finally like about Age of Sigmar. I might get converted to Age of Sigmar at some point, but it's not been up to now.
Today. Yeah.
So the limitations you've got to have, and this is the bit that I really don't like about it.
Okay.
Warsmith or Perturabo. And this is the bit that I don't really care about. You can't be assigned to deep strike, assault, subterranean assault, flanking assault. I don't like that my delegatus can't take this.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
But I just don't like that level of character.
Because you're not
having to be in every
battle. You're not going to Perturabo every battle.
Yeah, like why can my delegatus not tell his tactical marines to rapid fire? When it comes down to it. Yeah, like I get it, but
it's a weird downside.
Yeah, I don't mind taking a Warsmith. It's for narrative reasons that I just want to be able to take my delegatus.
Yeah.
So go on. What do you? Should we go over shrapnel bolters?
We can jump to it.
Yeah. Right. So jump into shrapnel weapons. I would just do shrapnel bolters. Shrapnel bolters, 18-inch range, strength 4, rapid fire pinning for 2 points a model. So it means on a base tactical squad it's plus 20 points, and you lose 6-inch of range, and you 9-inch range for rapid fire range. I actually think it's really harsh, that 18-inch range.
I do. I think it's harsh, the 18-inch range, and I think it's too expensive like 2 points per model.
It doesn't seem to come off much for me.
If you want like a big 20-man tactical squad, that's far too expensive for shrapnel bolters. If you want, like, why not just be...
But a lot of them are then out of rapid fire range.
Give it as here's a 10-point upgrade to your unit, regardless of the size.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't complain as much then, but 2 points per model
It either needs taking off the 2 points and making it a flat upgrade, as you said.
Yeah.
Or I want it back to 24-inch range.
24,
really.
yeah.
Like, there's other...
If it was 2 points per model
for
24-inch range, I wouldn't complain as much. Because you lose the range and the rapid fire bits.
Yeah. So it's then a trade-off when we get back to Hammer of Olympia. You can't have normal bolters in your list because... Or you can't at least use Fury if you've got normal bolters.
I don't like tactical squads in 2.0. I'm going to be...
Well, you use despoilers.
I like despoilers because...
Well, that's not two anti-Iron Warriors, as we were saying.
No, yeah.
Like, they were always portrayed as berserkers when they got into assaults.
Yeah.
So they don't have to be this incredibly static legion. Although they should have big guns.
Yes.
They don't all have to be these big guns.
Because is a bolter really going to help a siege? No, you want a chainsword when you go over the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, like, you should have some heavy weapon squads. They should have
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not super anti that methodology. But yeah, I like I like how it now operates. It's like Hammer of Olympia, you got to rapid fire and charge. I think this is a better way of doing it. So I like it. I don't think shrapnel weapons are in the place that they sort of need to be to make this the best right.
But if you want, like, again, if you wanted a really thematic Iron Warriors list, you just take it and it works really well.
That's what I found myself actually doing as well. It's got, other than the Warsmith, the other downsides to it, deep strike, assault, subterranean or flanking, not mass. Don't find myself much taking stuff that goes in there.
No, I
maybe termites.
Termites, Leviathans, like in 1.0 I take Leviathan and a pod in this, but that's not, like, from a thematic point of view.
Yeah.
I would take this if I was playing 12,000 points of Iron Warriors. I've got Perturabo at the head, siege and a wall, 12,000 points aside. This is amazing. Everyone's got shrapnel bolter because I've got points to throw away. Yeah.
Well, even I find it quite good to just throw in. If you're taking a Warsmith anyway, you probably many people take tactical squads. I know you don't like them.
Yeah.
Mine are all tactical squads. I want some despoiler squads, but at the moment I've got all tactical squads.
Yeah.
So there's not many actual downsides for me other than the Warsmith. True. It's like, I've not taken a Rite of War. I'll do Hammer of Olympia. And then I just get these three bonuses.
Yeah.
Because I've been taking even though I don't think they're the best, I've been taking them anyway because I get some stuff.
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah. So it's not that got many downsides, basically, is what I'm saying. It's not like Logos Lectora where you've really got to think about what is happening. It's just something really nice on a lot of things that apply to your army that you can just do. So onto Ironfire, and
this is what made you King of Manchester, I believe.
This is what made me stop playing competitive 30k in first edition.
Right.
Like, just it was really, really, really good. Yeah. It was non-scattering artillery with fearless within 6 of a marker. Basically, you placed a marker every time you fire barrage.
Yeah, I know how.
And they stuck around, but these guys might not.
They don't need
the markers stuck around for all game unless you didn't fire barrage.
Yeah, which you were doing every turn.
Yeah, which you did every turn.
It's amazing.
And then, so by the end of the game, the entire board would be markers, and I'd be fearless across the board.
So what does it do in 2.0 then?
In 2.0,
the first line.
Have you read it?
Oh yeah, I tested this as my first Iron Warriors game in 2.0.
Right. You run us down for them.
So the first thing is Arquiters can be taken as non-compulsory troops, which basically means you can have 4 Arquiters in your troop slot.
I don't own any Arquiters. How are they?
Not very good.
I didn't know that was going to be the response. Actually, I've never. Do you know what? I've not played an Arquiter yet against one in 2.0.
Yeah.
That might be why.
So I
don't own any.
I've got the barrage cannons and the spatula missile ones. They're all right, but they're like 200 points each.
Is it worthwhile as a compulsory troop slot? As a non-compulsory troop slot, sorry. Because they don't go in line.
They don't go in line.
But when they're not competing for that heavy slot,
it's quite nice.
Is it? So they become worthwhile.
Yeah, it's just the blast templates aren't as I think it's a small blast template now for them instead of a large blast template, which is pretty terrible. And yeah, so you're looking at the other weapon system. I just like the templates, but you can't use the templates anymore. But 200 points, stick a couple of last cannons on them. They're a troop shot instead of a heavy. Yeah. Heavy is still very contested in 2.0, so yeah, I think they're all right.
So, not the worst thing ever. But why you're really... I've played this a couple of times now.
Right.
Owning no Arquiters. So any weapon with the barrage special rule, fired by a model in this detachment, targeting any point within 12 inches of a friendly unit with Iron Warriors, scatters only D6 rather than 2D6.
It's very nice.
Really good. Really good. Because then if I've got a Vox, I'm minusing my BS.
Yeah, you're still taking your BS off that. Yeah. So you're like, what, a maximum 2-inch scatter?
If I roll a 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So,
6, but yeah.
Any unit with the infantry type within 12 inches of the final position of a weapon with barrage gains stubborn until the start of the controlling player's next turn. So good. So incredibly good.
It's not fearless, but stubborn just...
It's better because I can evade.
You can evade, yes. Which is
so my Havoks, if I danger close some barrage, gain stubborn.
Brilliant.
Any unit, basically, with infantry, may re-roll any failed armour saves taken against wounds with any variant of the blast special rule.
So you can do those danger close shots.
Yeah, and I think that one also really good.
Love it.
It's a nice little cherry on top. Like, is that bit.
Yeah.
You doesn't have to have it, but you do. So the drawbacks. You can't use deep strike, subterranean assault, or flanking assault. Pretty fine. Completely fine. A detachment using this Rite of War must have more Legion Arquiter, Basilisk, Medusas than it does any models with the cavalry unit type.
I have no issues with this. I don't like cavalry in my Armoury's lists.
Do you know what? I wouldn't mind, I like one unit of cavalry. Like
Outriders kind of thing.
Do you know what? At the moment, I'm building a unit of scimitars to be like... do you know what Alexander had his shot, of Macedon? Had his shot cavalry. Yeah. I want my unit of
it's just
Macedonian style.
It's just how I don't like cavalry in my Iron Warriors. Yeah, I'm not saying it's wrong to have.
No, I'm just saying
don't like it.
There is maybe that place for him, but it doesn't say I can't take cavalry. It just says I've got to have more.
Yeah.
So it's not really a downside. I wouldn't say. It's just a thing.
It's just like a 200-point tax on a cavalry unit.
Yeah, really. And even if I really want to take cavalry that much that this is a problem, I'll just take a different Rite of War.
yeah.
like if you're so butthurt about that being oh no, I've got to have the things that this benefits mainly in my list.
Yeah.
It doesn't say I can't take cavalry.
It's not even a heavy slot. It's like you have a 200-point troops tax. You have that with 2 tactical squads anyway.
Yeah. So it's
cool. It's fine.
And then you must include a siege breaker.
Yeah. I don't really...
It's fine.
Yeah, siege breaker, I like the way you can point at something else and they get it Sunder now instead of the unit you're in, but... Yeah.
I've been running this basically with a Scorpius and quad launchers. And maybe a Basilisk or Medusa.
Well, then you find them, aren't you?
Yeah, luckily it's not on the channel when I've not run it with it.
I mean, if I was going to take this, I'd be taking an Arquiter as a troop choice anyway, because it's kind of the point of the Rite of War, so that's fine.
Well, I just liked it because of it. It gives me stubborn. It gives me I'm doing my barrages anyway because sometimes I like taking quad mortars.
I did look at what the Morbius bombard was a second ago, but I've forgotten already. Strength 10 is awesome. It's a large blast. It rends on a 6+ and it pins.
But importantly, if you drop it on something, it's hitting side armour at 10.
Yeah.
Ordnance.
Yeah.
Which is what was really good about Medusa. Obviously not exploding stuff because it's only AP4 then.
Yeah, because even the rend doesn't.
But still, it's likely to get that whole point through.
I mean, it's more for if you drop it on I'm guessing Custodians are going to be toughness 5 when they come out. It's still toughness, still an armour save, isn't it? You might instant kill a Custodians and make them cry.
So there we go. Me and James are both, I think, in agreement that there's not too many downsides to this one. And Stubborn's awesome.
The spicular rocket launchers. So in 1.0, these were pick a point, and it was.
Yeah.
This is now a template as well, so this also benefits. So this is a massive blaster 7-inch with a 6-up rending
unlimited ammunition, whatever that is.
But
we're not going to need to
it's,
look at that.
no, it's still a template
still
for the thing.
yeah.
It's very thematic. These two, very thematic.
Yeah, I think this is, for me, the complaining part of this review has completely stopped now.
Yeah, like,
I think.
If you look at, I looked at the first page and went, right, from a competitive perspective, probably not amazing. Let's look at it from a thematic perspective. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's triumphant.
Yeah.
Triumphant. So, yeah, those are the Rites of War. And onto the Armoury. So you get a Warsmith, 20 points. You gain Master of Automata.
Which is nice.
Battlesmith to 3+, which is nice.
Yeah.
Servo Arm, Cortex Controller. Now, you can't ride a Sparta Combat Bike, Scimitar Jet Bike, Warhawk Jump Pack. A little bit, I would have quite liked to have a Warsmith on a Scimitar Jet Bike, but that is just me for that exact reason I was saying in the Iron Fight bit. But
again, that goes back
I just won't do the Warsmith bit when he's on a jet bike.
No.
He happens to not be equipped with his servo arm today.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. I don't
20 points is good for what you get.
Yeah. It's that nice little bit of extra stuff, and it's thematic for Iron Warriors. It no longer comes with the drawback of giving away 2 victory points, I will actually take them now.
Yeah, definitely. Because 2 victory points in Heresy rulebook missions is win or lose the game.
Yeah. And so here as well, Master of Automata is something that I missed at the start. Really? Yeah, because I was like, how do you join them to Iron Circle? That's how you do it.
That's how you do it, yeah.
Also, because you battle brothers with mech, if I want them to join a unit of Vorax, or a unit of, or just whatever. Vorax is what I used to have my Praevian in.
Domitars.
Yeah, Domitar, anything. He can do, because you battle brothers with mech.
It's good.
Which is great, which is absolutely brilliant. And yeah, Battlesmith 3+, good. If he's sat in the tank. But why would he be? But
sat next to a tank.
Yeah, if he's doing something and you happen to not want to shoot that bolt pistol that's really useful. Yeah. 3+,
bang, bang,
really good.
Fixed. Yeah, brilliant.
So, on to Graviton Crushers.
I like these as well.
Do you?
Yeah. As well, I like the Grav Mace. So that's the first one. So the Grav Mace replaces a power sword, or a power weapon, should we
And it's
say.
on any character subtype?
Yes, so
it's
sergeants.
not like other legions which do independent characters.
Yeah, so this is your unit sergeants get this.
Yeah.
Stays at AP3 and is haywire.
But loses rending.
That's true, but if I'm taking a power sword expecting it to rend something, I'm probably playing the wrong game.
Yeah.
On one sergeant anyway.
I think this is where it's worth it. Do you know what? The one thing I think it's really good. Because it's no points extra upgrade.
Yep.
It's haywire, so you can bash about tanks.
And dreadnoughts.
But I like, why does it conflict with my Legion rule? Like Wrack and Ruin gives me +1 that I then ignore because this has got haywire.
Yeah, it's class in it.
And it's really good. I think it's a nice little upgrade to just have in there. It's just funny that it does. It's just funny that it does.
Yeah, it's just nice for, like, if your dreadnought if your tactical squad or your despoiler squad gets charged by a dreadnought, your sergeant can knock off a couple of runes.
Yeah.
If you hit on 5s. But it's just cool.
I like it. I'm coming round to him a bit more. I need to sort of like test him a bit more.
Yeah.
But it's good against the dreadnoughts, as you say, especially if you're on a victory point, so that you're stubborn and not running away.
Yes.
Like the feeling of pain the dreadnought will ignore anyway. But this will take more than one turn to do in a dreadnought, most likely.
Oh yeah, you probably only take 2 hull points off, 2 wounds off a dreadnought.
At most, yeah.
Yeah. Across the combat. But
when you were on a victory point and have stubborn,
your objectives,
you might actually be able to do it.
Yeah.
It's just that nice extra thing. And as you say, who's missing that rending 6 up on that one sergeant? If it was a squad full of Graviton Mauls.
Yeah, but you can't. It's just, you need a squad full of characters, don't you?
What we need is suzerain.
No, not even going to bother. Right, next weapon, Grav Crushers.
Replacing a Thunderhammer.
Not a fan.
No, not at all.
And the reason I'm not a fan is because the Thunderhammer is the best weapon in the game for combat.
Well, and this is really, yeah, it is. It loses the -2, the ×2 strength.
Which is fine, I can deal with that.
+2 strength, I'm not doubling people out anymore.
No.
Which is not good.
It's
I want to
annoying.
be able to double people out. AP2. And it's not at initiative like other people's AP2 special weapons.
Nope.
Like the Space Wolves have one, which is at initiative
Yeah.
with, what is it, Rending Blow or Rampage 1, something like that. Yeah, so it's not initiative, it's two-handed.
So you don't get an extra attack.
Yeah, so even if I've got 2 specialist weapons, I don't get
doesn't
an
matter.
extra attack. And the Haywire,
We've discussed a second ago.
well, it's good, but like when I'm getting a Thunderhammer,
Which is
that's
strength
better against the Dreadnought
strength 9
than the Haywire is.
Because your Thunderhammer's strength 9 against the Dreadnought, brutal 2.
Yeah, so I'm wounding any Dreadnought on
Yeah.
a 2-up anyway.
It's just, Thunderhammer just arguably better.
So then Graviton Maul,
This replaces a Dreadnought close combat weapon.
yeah. A Gravis Power Fist specifically.
Yes.
So your Leviathan, like I've modelled a Leviathan with a
Yes.
with a shield and hammer.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah.
This one does
I was
cost
so
points.
upset when I realised that Dreadnoughts don't have Gravis Power weapons. So go on.
This one does cost 15 points on top of it. Still makes you strength 9, which is
Yeah.
what the Gravis Power Fist does. Still AP2. Brutal 2 instead of Brutal 3. It's, I can lose a Brutal and it gains Haywire.
It's the thing is though, that Brutal 3 on the Dreadnought, you're already wounding other Dreadnoughts on a 2, so the Haywire doesn't make much difference.
The Haywire makes the difference
For
on
ignoring an arm for the invulnerable
yeah.
save.
So
It's
this,
only on a 6.
yeah, but it's brutal wounds, isn't it? So if I roll to wound with my attacks and one of them's a 6,
Yeah.
that's 2 wounds you take with no invuln saves. Because that's how brutal works.
Right, so we've got, as a Dreadnought, I've got 3 attacks,
Yeah, we'll call it
2
3.
close combat weapons,
Yeah, 4 attacks.
4. Right, half of them are hitting,
Yeah.
so that means 0.6 of them are getting a 6,
Yeah.
right, on this.
It's
Right, we'll come back to you. Do you know what?
I'm not going to sit here while Max does maths. It's
I reckon
for 15
you're actually,
points.
I prefer
the Gravis.
the fist.
Yeah, because it costs 15 points. If it was a
cost-
free
it both
upgrade,
costs 15 points.
if it was a free upgrade, sure, I'd do it just because it's cool. Like the output would probably be similar.
Yeah,
because
I
it
think
costs
the output
more.
is similar now, yeah.
You're worse against Cataphractic Terminators because you're
Yeah.
losing a brutal roll. And again, like the Haywire, cool. It's good against Dreadnoughts, but against tanks, you're strength 10 with your Gravis Fist on a Dreadnought because
Yeah.
you've got your Iron Warriors rule.
Are we too upset about Graviton Crusher, like the Graviton Crusher weapons though?
Like I said, the Mace I think is cool. The Crusher and the Maul, not my bag.
They're not my thing, but it falls into the category. I'm never really upset now when Legion special weapons aren't that great because it seems like everyone's Legion special weapons, except for a few.
Yeah.
There's one or two. There's one or two.
Laughs in Raven Guard.
No. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's like 1 or 2
That are amazing.
but they seem to be the exceptions rather
Yeah,
than the rules.
yeah. Again-
and I'm glad that we've got one, which is like, even if I started making the argument that the Graviton Mace, I'd take this over that, like over the Graviton, say like a sword over the Mace. It's a split decision.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like me and you a split. I mean, I can't make a good argument.
For yeah.
like-
They're
and
both okay.
And I think having it against Dreadnoughts, which is such a problem in this game, is such a benefit that taken.
Just have your Sergeant with one
Yeah.
for like 10 points. Cool.
So because when that Dreadnought charges in and it's got like 3 wounds left, you might just do it in.
Because it's still, like, if you're getting charged by a tactical squad, it's still AP3, so it's still chumping Marines.
Yeah.
And if you're getting charged by a Terminator unit, your power source not doing squat anyway, mate, let's be fair.
Exactly.
So,
And
It's
if
good,
you
yeah.
need to kill that AP2 Sergeant, what have your Havoks been doing all game? So, Olympian shrapnel weapons. Any model Legion Astartes, an independent character, may exchange a bolt pistol for a shrapnel pistol or bolter for a shrapnel bolter at no additional cost.
cool. I'll take that. Free upgrade.
Yeah, at
Free
any,
upgrade,
at any
yeah.
point, definitely that one.
Yeah.
So this is where, do you know when we were saying that like it needs to be free?
Yeah.
I would just automatically
Yeah.
give them to them.
Because even if I never fire it, it's just cool.
Yeah.
But I've got shrapnel bolts, I'm an Iron
Well,
Warrior.
also just the chance to pin someone in a squad that was shooting anyway.
Yeah.
Like I give all my characters bolters anyway, and I know you wouldn't because you don't like bolters. I just like my dude having a rifle,
Yeah, cool.
and the fact that this is free,
Even better.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So a unit composed entirely of Iron Warriors, which will be every unit of Iron Warriors at list creation stage. Because what can you mix in at list creation stage?
Nothing yet.
Yeah, nothing yet. Main upgrade all bolt pistols in the unit to shrapnel pistols, or bolters to shrapnel bolters, heavy bolters to shrapnel cannons for 2 points a weapon. Now, Iron Havoks get that free, built into them.
Yeah, they get free shrapnel cannons.
Yeah. So on your heavy weapon squad, you won't be worrying about that because your heavy weapon squad with heavy bolters will actually be Iron Havoks with shrapnel cannons.
Yeah.
Anyway, any unit composed entirely of vehicles may upgrade for 2. I don't know why I'm reading this entire thing out. It's like every review I go through, I read the wordy bit and then I'm like, why is it so wordy?
Yeah.
It's my own fault for reading
So,
it. Basically, your range is reduced, 6 inches on a bolter, 2 inches on a bolt pistol. It's reduced by 12.
which is huge.
Yeah.
For a heavy weapon,
Yeah.
you're never shooting them.
And for some reason, the Dreadnought shrapnel cannon is still 36-inch range.
So, what I would pay,
Yeah.
or wouldn't pay because it's on a Havok, but I would take them on Havoks if they
With
36 inches heavy 4 or 24 inches assault 4.
Yeah, something like that. They give you the mobility that, like, Hammer of Olympia...
Because the 24-inch range, my Raven Guard can charge from outside that.
Right.
Can get you in a turn from further range than that. Space Wolves can do further range than that. It's like, if I wanted that unit dead, you'd never have a turn of shooting them before I killed you.
Oh, but I would, James, because I've got a reaction that allows me to...
Yeah.
It's... I like shrapnel weapons. Other than, I don't particularly like shrapnel cannon, but I don't use my Havoks in that way anyway.
No, that's fair.
Like, I'm even getting another unit of Havoks. They're not going to be armed with heavy bolters. They're going to be armed with autocannons.
Yeah.
Because you keep
cool.
showing me up by having more Havoks than you.
But again, in my theoretical 12k game against the Siege of Terror fortifications, every model's having one of these, except for the shrapnel cannon because that is just useless.
Yeah.
Shrapnel bolters, shrapnel pistols, everyone will get them because it's very thematic.
I like the 18-inch range. I like in theory, in that it like forces that aggressiveness that like
Which
to me like
running forward in a rhino, jumping out.
It's weird because like Iron Warriors tend to get played really defensively, but to me they should be an aggressive legion because they're storming things.
So when I take my attack squads in my own warriors, they're in rhinos and they yeet themselves forward.
Yeah.
And then die because
Not Kobe themselves forward.
No, there's no accuracy. It's just pure distance. They go.
But
Pure
they reroll
distance.
the ones. They reroll them. So yeah, I like the aggressiveness of that 18-inch range. I just don't think it plays off.
Yeah, that's fair.
To enough. It needs to be 24, but I like them. I take them. Perturabo, we're saving the money shot till last.
Yeah, Iron Circle, 150 points.
Do you know what? I have bought many Iron Circle.
I too.
And they always get converted into something else.
Right.
Like as in, like I put like servo arms on my dreadnoughts and stuff with their legs. So I've got like
Right.
I've got like 4 Iron Circle bodies, but I've never used Iron Circle. So how are they now, James? Stats.
Yeah.
Movement 8, like
Pretty
a
good.
Domitar and stuff. Weapon skill 4, that's a bit of a shame. Strength toughness because of hitting
ballistic
5.
skill 3.
I was just ignoring
Yeah, yeah.
that. Strength toughness 7, 5 wounds, initiative 3, 3 attacks, leadership 8, 3 up save. Shrapnel cannon, graviton maul, so the brutal 2.
Yeah, with
mauls.
haywire.
Yeah. Karski battle shield.
Pretty good.
Yeah. They've got automata, which is cybernetica and heavy. They're Iron Warriors, so they're +1 strength for Rack and Ruin.
Yeah.
They've got Relentless,
With the
Hammer of
haywire
Wrath
weapons.
3. Yeah, with the haywire weapons. Moving Bulwark, but Hammer of Wrath 3, so I'm strength 8 on my Hammer of
That
Wrath.
is relevant. That is relevant.
Moving Bulwark, Shield of the Iron Tyrant, an additional Domitara cheaper.
Which is also very nice.
Yeah. So the Kurski Battle Shield is a 5-up invulnerable save, and instead of getting instant death, it's D3 wounds.
So it's a dreadnought automatic input.
Yeah,
save,
it's just that,
basically.
which
is good.
it is. But why does my massive shield not give me any more protection than a normal Domitar? Is Perturabo a retard?
No, it does though. So it does in a rule further down.
It does in Moving Bulwark,
Yeah.
but that's a separate rule, James. So
Oh, it's not linked to the shield anymore.
no, it's not. So it's,
Oh.
when you're in base contact with another friendly model that has Moving Bulwark, both models increase the invulnerable save to 4 up.
Oh. So all it does
So
is...
it doesn't also confer to your Praetor when he joins the unit like it used to.
No. It makes charges disordered.
Yeah, so the shield does that. I suppose.
All right.
Yeah, so that is a benefit, I suppose, of the shield. Like, I don't think that... I'm not complaining about them too much for that.
No.
It's... The moving bulwark, you have to be base contact. That's a downside versus blasts. Who kills automata with blasts? Like, you're going to get them two anyway. Like, you're going to hit those two, and they're on like an 80 mil base.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter that they're in base contact.
No, not
It's not a downside.
It's fine. Getting a 4-up in one is good.
Right. Shield of the Iron Tyrant. If you've got 3 or more Iron Circle, they can be reacting you for Perturabo. If they do that, they gain a feeling of playing 5+, which is nice. Really, really good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. On a toughness 7 model.
Yeah, on a toughness 7 model. I think they sort of need that all the time. What do you think about? I've not used them enough. I can only
so I used them
in
a game against Chris Vex and his Iron Hands. I didn't read it properly, so I took 2 as a retinue for Perturabo, so my bad.
James.
It's alright, he took Dreadnoughts and tabled me on turn 2. So it was fine, it didn't make a difference.
So all we can say is they don't work against Dreadnought armies.
I didn't get into combat with them, they're heavy, so I can't run.
Yeah.
And he just walked away
At
from
least
me.
they're movement 8. Yeah, I suppose he just walked away.
Just walk away from me. So yeah, but feeling up in 5 is nice. If you stick them forward with Perturabo into the middle objective, you're happy.
I think so the additional attack for 3 attacks is quite nice. I think at 150 points they're slightly expensive when you compare them to Dreadnoughts.
Yes.
Which are only 25 points more.
2-up save, weapon skill 5, and a better melee.
Better in attack, yeah. And
the fact the additional ones are cheaper though is quite nice.
Yeah, and I think that the 4-up invulnerable save is really good until you get to the point of like brutal 3 weapons, because invulnerable saves matter less and less when someone has brutal weapons.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So I don't think they're as good as Dreadnoughts. I think you can use them successfully, is what I will say.
Yeah.
I think you can use them successfully. I think they're a really nice choice. I love Iron Circle as a thing. It's just a shame mine keep getting pilfered for modelling projects. But I really want some. I really want some. So, yeah, not as good as a Dreadnought, but what is? Yeah. What is good? Tell me what is as good as a Dreadnought. Tell me in the comments if you actually can tell me something that is actually as good as a Dreadnought. So Domitar can be taken. Tyrant Siege Terminators. 300 points. You've got the Tyrants, which are movement 6, weapon skill 4, BS 4, strength toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 4, 2 attacks, leadership 8, 2-up save, and the Siege Master Sergeant is 3 attacks and leadership 9, which is actually really nice little upgrade.
Yeah, the leadership is pretty dope.
Well, like the leadership's good. They've got Inexorable as Terminators.
Yeah.
They've got Firing Protocols 2 to deal with their Tyrant launchers, Relentless, Bulky 2, Iron Warriors. Combi Bolter, Power Fist. Power Fist is nice to start with.
Yeah. Well, Power Fist is nice.
Yeah, they just standard, nice. Tyrant Rocket Launchers, Cataphracti, Omniscope on the Siege Master. So, additional models are 55 points each, so a slight points increase. You can get a Chain Fist for 5 points.
Which is quite cheap as well.
Really cool option now. 2 Lightning Claws.
I know, that was cool.
2 Lightning Claws, 10 points a model. And can take a Grenade Harness if you happen to take those Lightning Claws. Because if you don't take those Lightning Claws and take the Grenade Harness, what are you doing with your life? So, Omniscope gives you night vision to the entire unit, which is
amazing.
So, slight errata to what me and James said here. Tyrants don't gain night vision, they ignore the effects of night fighting. So enemies will still get to use Shrouded against their attacks, which is one of the main benefits of stuff that gives night vision. However, ignoring the effects of night fighting is still incredibly good to have as a bonus. It's just not quite as good as a Cognis Signum.
You get Interceptor for free. Yeah, Interceptor for free is just...
Again, amazing.
Yeah. You can't exceed those 3 reactions limited in the phase, but...
I've never...
Cry me a river, every Iron Warriors player that does it.
I know.
I'm not upset about it. James isn't upset about it. You shouldn't be upset about it. Then we've got Tyrant Rocket Launchers, which are... I miss out the frag. Just completely miss out the frag.
The pinning, though. Heavy for pinning.
I've got enough pinning on my shrapnel bolters that you don't take, thanks, James.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
Yeah.
it's the 8, right, so AP6 is the letdown there. If it was AP4, so could therefore like do in solar, or if it was strength 5, so with just that bit
and it's
better,
not twin linked either.
I'd make-
Like if it's heavy 4 twin linked, I'd still yeet a load of shots out with it.
Yeah, so it's right. Let's get through this. Jim.
Yeah.
Let's get through this, and then we can say why they should be BS.
Right.
So you got crack missiles, range 48, strength 8, AP 3, heavy 2, and flak, strength 7, AP 3, heavy 2, skyfire. Really weird that the skyfire missiles have AP 3 because whenever you fire at something in the sky, it's got an armor value, and therefore AP 3 means nothing.
No.
Right.
They did that just to annoy us, I'm sure.
Yeah, I bet. So, really, what we're going for here is crack, strength 8, AP 3.
Yeah, unless you're shooting a flyer down, which you're just shooting a flyer down.
Yeah. But like, what comes into it all the time is the crack, not the flak.
So
You're effectively strength 9 when you're firing at a vehicle, which is really nice buff from last edition. 2 wounds, really nice buff from last edition.
yeah, again, that makes them a lot better.
But Full and Ataris exist, James.
Yeah, which is
I
just
think
better
these
version.
melted down everyone. Everyone was snapped up to shit when these came out. Like, how do I deal with Tyrants? I think people have now worked out like how to shut down reactions, how to bait a bit more. I think they're in a really nice place. I think they're really good.
So when all the playtest rules dropped before 2.0, these were twin linked, like normal cycle missile launchers, and I still think if these were twin linked, they would be amazing.
Yeah.
As they are now, they're very good.
I really like them as you say, I really like them as a unit. They're very good. The BS5 on the Ultramarine Terminators hurts me inside.
Yeah.
It kills me a little bit. Why are they better? But there's nothing to complain about with this unit.
It's a good unit. It's good for its points.
Yeah, like if you want to see them living up to their points, go and check out mine and James's game when you played my Terminator army and they charged the Tyrants with your Death Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it bounced a Raven Guard Dark Fury squad with I think 2 or 3 characters in there. At least 2 characters, as in like independent characters.
Possibly. Yeah, because Cross was in the other unit, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
And so that was a dedicated combat unit that they bounced.
Yeah.
Because do you know what? When the missiles run out, they're still Terminators.
So these are a combat unit with missile launchers.
They just happen to be.
Yeah, that have crack missile launchers, and that's how I play them. They're models with power fists, which will be probably strength 10 when I charge you, if not strength 11.
Because they're the same weapon skill as any other Terminator unit.
Unless it's a specialist.
Unless it's a special. Yeah. But like, I'm not crying about that. They've got the missile launchers that do other things.
Yeah, they're good.
Brilliant. I think they're not as like sort of an overall meta view. AP3 I don't think is as good as it used to be, because being able to bounce wounds to the sergeants when you want means that AP3 really suffers. It means like dreadnoughts. These guys do not fire these guys against dreadnoughts.
No,
but,
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, because they're just not going to do anything. They're just going to 2-up save your missiles. But just don't expect them to do that. I'm not sad about it too much. I just don't expect them to do that role.
I mean, like I say, I came into 2.0 thinking with these twin linked, they can take down a dreadnought, and if they were twin linked, they could still take down a contemptor.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, just on pure weight of dice. So twin linked and then in combat, but they just bounce now. You can't get enough shots through. But like I say, don't expect them to do it. That's not what they're there for. That's what your las cannons are there for.
Exactly. And I think, like, we could go on all day about how these are excellent, but also I don't think broken.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Everyone that doesn't play Iron Warriors is going to be like, oh, you guys are fucking bullshit.
Yeah, but then you just Full Terrorists exist.
Yeah.
It's like they're just better versions of these. Like, Go kick
well, ours came first.
Go kick an Ultramarines player or something, you know?
Yeah.
These are fine.
And a seal on the way. Or a turtle. So, with that, we'll get on to Iron Havoks, which James has just got the rule. Oh, you sent me the rules.
Yeah.
Yes. So, these are in the Legacies PDF. If you do not know where that is...
Put a link to it in the
I'll
video.
link. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll link below. So, Iron Havoks, they're in the Legacies. If you... actually you're playing against your opponent, these are considered official. due to a statement in the front of the Legacies PDF.
These are you don't need approval to use them. You just use them.
It's not like experimental games.
No.
So we do still have Iron Havoks despite crying out in pain when the initial book came out. So they're 135 points, so 35 points more expensive than a heavy support squad.
Yeah.
They've got Ballistic Skill 5 is the difference here.
Which is nice.
Yeah, everything else is the same on the stat lines, down to the Sergeant being Leadership 8 rather than 7 on the rest of the squad. They come with the Shrapnel Cannon, which James hates. They've got a Bolt Pistol, Frag Grenades, Crack Grenades, Power Armour, and the Ferrum Ocularis.
Which is quite tasty, actually.
Very tasty. They are heavy. They just at that point a standard squad other than BS5, but BS5 is excellent.
Yeah,
excellent. Yeah. Right, you've got one Iron Havoc may take of Exilla for 10 points. They're 20 points each extra. Augury Scanner plus 10 points.
Yep.
Would you take it?
Ignore
Ignore the range of night fighting, but
so yes, I'd take an
in
Augury
case
Scanner,
your Tech Marine got shot out.
but I wouldn't put a Tech Marine. So the way I will build these is one of two ways, and we'll get into it.
Right, so
my autocannon unit,
which is a free upgrade. Right, I'll run down everything.
Yeah,
and then we'll go
into
into it. Yeah, because that was a stupid way of doing it. Right, so that I set us up for. So you can take an autocannon, exchange for the shrapnel bolter for free.
So all models have to have this though. So it can't just be.
Yeah, because you used to be able to chop and change.
Yeah, so I used to have 5 las cannons, 4 missile launchers for anti-air. Now it has to be all the same weapon.
Yeah, but I think everyone should change to that autocannon.
Las cannons are free.
Yeah, free.
That makes them better. So if you want to take an autocannon heavy support squad or an autocannon Havoc squad, the Havoks are better and cheaper for that.
Because of that lack of upgrade cost.
Because it's free.
Yeah. You've then got missile launchers, frag, crack, and flak for 5 points a model.
It's not bad.
Fairly decent. Like I sometimes run a 5-man squad of like Havoks because they're never heavy sport marines. They do work, but they just this edition aren't anywhere near as good as las cannons. 15 points a model.
So this is where I have an issue. So las cannons 15 points a model for these guys. For a heavy support squad, they're 10 points a model.
Yeah.
Additional Iron Havocs are 20 points a model. Additional heavy supports are 15 points a model. So if you wanted to take a unit with las cannons at BS5, you're actually better, and it's cheaper, to take a 10-man heavy support squad with las cannons, buy a Tech Marine with a Cognis Cygnus, make them BS5, ignore night fighting, ignore Shroud. It's cheaper than the Iron Havoc version.
Yeah, and I think I've been of that opinion for ages.
Yeah.
I think the difference comes in one very specific situation. And if you take a Tech Marine with a las cannon squad, you can Bitter Fury them and re-roll the ones of the Get Hot. And I don't think that's what was put to me.
What?
Because you're then BS6, you're re-rolling the ones that misses. Right. So ignoring that, I think
it gets hot.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that works.
I don't think that is a good enough reason. I don't think it works that way. To take.
I think if you have Gets Hot overrules the reroll. I believe we'll have to double check it, but I'm pretty certain if you've got a Gets Hot weapon, you reroll. Right. Well, anyway.
Right. So I don't think that is a good enough reason for the points difference.
No.
I think I would just take that heavy weapon squad. Ignoring the shrouding, it's just so much. It's so much better. Like the one thing on this is the Ferrum Ocularis, which you get a 6-up precision shots.
Yes,
and it's quite nice to snipe people with las cannons. Whether that's worth it on a 6-up, I'm not massively in the vein that it is. I've been using them for quite a few battle reports now, and quite a few games with that. For a 6-up like precision shot.
I like it a lot with my autocannons. So my autocannon Havocs, just the mass dice, the 6s, I can snipe out sergeants and apothecaries.
Yeah.
Because some of them are going to rend.
Yeah.
And with that amount of dice, it's just good.
Yeah. It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's, as you say, the price difference means that they're much better with autocannons. And especially with our Legion rule taking those autocannons up 1 strength. This is where it comes in on these specific squads that are having to be firing as your dedicated anti-tank.
Hilarious enough, for the game we're playing, I have 10 Havoks with autocannons and a Tech Marine with a Cognis and an Augury Scanner, because the Augury Scanner is cheaper on the Tech Marine than it is for the unit.
Right. Okay.
So I have that BS6. So I've done it both ways.
So you've said it one way and then done it another.
Well, they've not got
Listen
last
to what we
cannons.
say, not what we do.
They've not got last cannons because it's not worth the points.
So Nuncio Box comes on the Sergeant here. I would do that because if they've not got a Tech Marine.
Yeah.
Because then you're not getting your leadership reduced. I think it's worth it if you don't have that Tech Marine. And I don't think that the Tech Marine is worth it in the Iron Havoc unit. So I would pretty much always put that Nuncio Vox.
The Nuncio Vox or the Augury Scanner?
The Nuncio Vox.
Oh, right.
And the Nuncio Vox, like, if you don't have that Nuncio Vox, if it's night fighting, your leadership's 7.
Yeah.
And then if someone fear bombs you, your leadership's 6.
That's fair.
There's too much chance of just getting pinned out of the game, and I would then...
Which is probably what's going to happen to me now.
Hopefully. I've got no fear bombs, though, so it
Good.
doesn't massively matter. So, finally, on to the
man
big
himself.
dog himself, Perturabo, 425 points, 25 points less than Russ. He's cheaper, James.
I think he's
cheaper.
I think he's slightly more expensive than Corax as well.
Is he more expensive than Corax?
Pretty sure Corax is like 420. Anyway,
So he is movement 7, so 1 less movement than quite a few Primarchs.
he's 15 points cheaper than Corax.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's
Pretty cheap. He is
weapon
pretty cheap.
skill set. I prefer him to be expensive, James. Weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 7, strength 6. He's 1 less strength than Russ.
Yeah, he's
He's
weaker.
Toughness 7, 6
is
wounds, initiative 5, which is good. 6 attacks, strength 10, 2 up save.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get on to why initiative 5 is good.
Well, strength 6 as well. You think it's not as good. It's still wounding Marines on 2s.
Yeah.
And it's technically strength 7 against Dreadnoughts.
Well, he's strength 8 against Dreadnoughts because he's
Yes.
Logos Megafists
So
that make him AP2. So he's got the Logos array, for some reason split up. Frag Grenades, Cortex Controller. He's Legion Astartes Iron Warriors, Master of the Legion, Battlesmith 2+,
which is nice.
very good. Firing Protocols 2, Master of Automata so he can join his Iron Circle. Traitor, surprisingly, Sire of the Iron Warriors. And he can be given Forge Breaker for 35 points, which he should definitely do, making him more expensive than Russ and more expensive than Corax.
Yeah. I've played him without the Forge Breaker.
Did he do that well without Brutal 2? Would you give up Brutal 2?
No, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't give up strength 12 AP1 Brutal 2 Exo Shock. I just wouldn't.
Yes.
It
So
was a mistake.
always take him with
Always
Forge
take
Breaker.
the hammer unless you're really min-maxing.
Yes. So I think even min-maxing, he needs that Brutal 2.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he's not doubling out Terminators.
Yeah, you
Or
just
veterans.
You just always take him.
Yeah.
Always take it, yeah.
So Sire rule, anyone with infantry type in Legion Astartes Iron Warriors rolls 3 dice when making morale or pinning caused by shooting attacks and discard the dice with the highest result. Not as good as ignoring it in last edition, but this is where our fearlessness to shooting attacks comes back in.
Still nice.
Yep, and he gets an extra reaction in the shooting phase as every other Iron Warriors Legion trait does, or Warlord trait does. I really like that as a Sire rule.
I do. Yeah.
I think it's really useful.
Because when you've got your units, your tack squads or your despoilers on objectives, you stub them with 3 dice, take 1. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
You're just not breaking, are you?
No, it's really good. It's just a shame for me that it comes here, but I think as an objective Perturabo review, that is a really good Sire review.
Brilliant. Beautiful.
So then the Logos, 2 up armor save, who knew? 3 up invulnerable save.
That is amazing as well.
Yes,
3 up in
really,
is
really
so
good.
good.
Allows Perturabo to ignore all the effects of night fighting.
Again, very good.
And when Perturabo or any unit that he's joined makes an intercept reaction, it doesn't cost that reaction allotment.
So the only complaint I've got about this
Yeah.
is if you're not putting him in a unit of Iron Circle, you're sticking him in a unit of Tyrants, which makes the Tyrants upgrade just worthless.
Yeah,
It does the
it's
same
sort of,
thing.
yeah. Unless you take him in, like, say, a Terminator unit which has got Magna Combi weapons with plasma or something. Do you know, something like that? But that's getting on to be more specific.
Yeah.
So He's then got the Logos array, so he gets 2 profiles with that. Ranged, which is mega cannons, 30-inch range, strength 6, AP 3, assault 6, twin linked, shred, pinning, shell shock 1.
So good.
It is. I would have liked to see. A lot of Primarchs have rending on their shooting attack.
That would have, or AP2 flat would have been pretty cool, but
Yeah, because if they're steering in more of the shooting direction, he sort of needs that AP2 at all times.
I mean, I guess
It's very good. I think the shell shock 1 negates that slightly because it effectively means they've got no sergeant.
Well, you can do cheeky things with this because obviously everything's a precision shot, effectively, or he picks his targets.
Yeah.
So you can snipe out the apothecary who they've not given artificer armor
If
on.
they've not, yeah.
Then they get the shell shock pinning.
Yeah.
So you can miss the artificer armor models, which is quite nice.
Yes, which is everyone gets to do that. So say I've got another Primarch, say like Russ has an AP3 bolter, 3 shots with a rending 6. It means I've got rending 6, your sergeant's dead and 3 marines.
Yeah, that's
So it's
shell shock 1's quite nice.
I think the shell shock 1 is really nice. Do you know, like, because even so, my complaint is that you can't take out the sergeant. That sort of it would have been nicer because shell shock 1 with no sergeant is even better.
Yeah.
But shell shock 1 with a sergeant is like having taken out their sergeant.
Yes.
So it's some complaint. The hand giveth and the hand taketh away.
It wouldn't be an Iron Wars review if we didn't complain about everything.
No, exactly. So melee, +1 strength, AP2 with his mega fists. And it's surprisingly two-handed because his 2 hands take up 2 hands.
He's going to clap people, isn't he?
Do you reckon that's what he's doing?
Goes up to
He's
him,
attacking.
clap.
Do you not think it's like the double karate chop?
No,
like
he's
down
not
on
that.
either side of the neck?
He's not that finesse. He literally goes up to him and goes, clap your head, off we go.
Just claps.
There's a lot of clap.
Claps people's heads out of existence. So, I think that's good. It means he's at initiative AP2,
which is really good. Yeah,
and it seems to be on a lot of these things that AP2 at initiative, and then they've got the option of a brutal attack.
Because you don't lose one by taking Forge Breaker. You can switch between them if you want. You can like stow Forge Breaker and AP2 some fools, or you can strength 13 a Dreadnought out of existence.
Yeah, on separate turns.
Yeah.
Like just to make sure. Like I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
Just to get it in. Yes, there are some Primarchs like Ferrus that has stuff at initiative with better than that, but
you could use this to beat Ferrus though, because Ferrus piles in.
We'll get into
we
that.
won't because we're not in tactics.
We are in this video, James. Forge Breaker desecrated, strength 12, AP 1, melee unwieldy, mastercrafted, exo shock 3+, brutal 2. Now, Ferris's hammer,
brutal 3,
not unwieldy.
Yeah.
How can we make Perturabo better than that? Well, Perturabo is less initiative than Ferrus.
So Ferrus strikes first.
He does. So, if I'm further back in the unit, out of precision strike range because I'm out of engagement range. And James knows this. We're saying it like it's a surprise.
No, it's not.
It's in fact not even us that came up with it. Chris came up with it. But we might be able to defeat Ferrus with it. So then you're out of precision strike range.
You can't take wounds if you're not in
engagement range,
which is 2 inches from a model that is in combat on your side.
Yeah. So
if
you're a bit further back, you can't be allocated to. Now at your lesser initiative, you pile into engagement range and put them all on the Primarch. It also means you ignore Russ's -1 to hit because you're not in base contact.
Yes.
Yeah. So you then hit them back with your strength 12 mega hammer, and hopefully don't whiff all of your attacks.
But it's mastercrafted, so
yeah. So you've got your 6 attacks, which is more than the 4 last time, and can brutal 2 people out. Until that strategy was come up with, I was super upset about Perturabo.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so. Other than that, I don't think he is that brilliant compared to other Primarchs. He's more expensive than a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because of
the hammer.
Because of the hammer. Even without being more expensive than them because of the hammer, he's only 25 points more to become Russ. Yeah. I think it's only like 15 points more to become Ferrus. They're just much better. Like, I don't. Perturabo was the best Primarch in the last edition if you could hit Russ first turn. Because then Russ got concussed.
Yeah, he's not concussive anymore.
He's not concussive.
If it's not concussive, it'd be so amazing.
Yeah, well, exactly. The thing is, he's all right. I think he's on the lower end of how good Primarchs are.
Yeah.
Did we deserve it after first edition? I think we did.
The sins.
We had our time in the sun.
Yeah.
He was the best Primarch, I think, by far, in first edition. First turn reserves for a while was excellent.
Which was tasty.
Deep striking with Tyrants, non-scatter was amazing. He was so good. He was gone. Everything that is good in one edition usually gets nerfed in the other edition. I know like some didn't, like Suzerain and stuff, but it was going to happen. I was expecting this to happen basically.
Yeah.
Because he was just so good. He was a problem in first edition. He was like the submarine in under the like no one realised until you did it to them. And then you did it to them and then they held their arse and walked out of the room. Like they got shafted with the hammer, never mind the fucking
I didn't
header.
tend to take Perturabo in my 1.0 lists.
I didn't, because I made him into a statue because he was too good. he was just too good.
Well then,
The Alpha Strike potential.
Out of the Primarchs in 1.0, yes, but I didn't rate Primarchs in 1.0. That was my thing.
He was the only one that I did. Because so for anyone that didn't know, before the 2 year ago nerf, you had Perturabo basically put reserves on turn one. So obviously what you did is you deployed everything off the board, literally everything except for maybe a Damocles, and then you rolled on in turn one and killed everything because you had a normal army coming on. You didn't have to deep strike with pods. But yeah, that's
pretty nice.
So I'm not too upset. I don't think he's the best Primarch ever. I don't think he's the worst. He's got invulnerable 3-up. He's got his hammer that with his low initiative you can actually use to your benefit.
Yeah. Couple of tips.
I don't think he's terrible. I just don't think he's the top of the pile.
No, I'd agree with that.
And I don't think that's the worst place to be. Because next edition a massive buff, yeah?
Next edition.
So yeah, that is the end of our Iron Warriors rundown.
Happy days.
Yeah. And thank you for watching. If you have any extra comments that we've missed out, let us know below in the comments.
We didn't do any of the other units from the Legacies PDF either because...
Well, do you want to do the Tormentor really quickly?
No.
I do. Don't take it, it's 900 points.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
He's not good enough, don't take it. Use him with the Iron Circle. Yeah, that is our review. Let us know what we missed in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and... Yeah.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Are we saying that this time?
I don't know.
Don't forget to like, comment below with any things that we missed. Subscribe to the channel, it does help out with the analytics and lets me know that you guys want more of this sort of content, so it's prioritised. If you really liked it, there is a Patreon link below, as well as a link to the War Office where you can get new releases off at 30% off. James made me do it. I wasn't going to do this, it was just going to be a nice celebratory Iron Warriors video, and James made me. So we'll catch you next time in a bit.
See ya.